We've been lucky enough to steal some downtime with one of Australia's gold medal hopes for the upcoming Paris Games. Dylan, first of all, thanks for taking time out of your preparation to spend some time with Rio. You must be getting excited now, mate. Tell me, how'd you feel when you found out you qualified for Paris?
Yeah, it was a tremendous feeling coming out of the World Championships to have that ticked off. Through this cycle, it was a bit more expected that I'd qualify for the next games, unlike in the past. So it was just good to be able to tick that off and move on to the next thing.
Improving as you get older, mate. Getting a bit more confidence and building your strength and
Yeah, so I think kayaking, you come into your peak around 25 to your early 30s, so I'm still coming in before that. Still on the uprise, we're still picking up different things here and there every year, so hopefully we just keep going with it.
sounds good, sounds good. How did it feel this time around compared to learning you'd make your debut in Rio in 2016? How'd that feel?
In the debut back in Rio, that was definitely a bit of a shock. There wasn't too many people that thought I was going to make it coming into that final in Duisburg, Hungary in 2016. The last chance qualifiers managed to scrape in by 0.001 of a second. So, yeah, to be able to scrape in there and to be able to get that experience from the first para-canoe Paralympic event was huge coming into Tokyo and now into Paris.
Yeah, right. Building up the strength, a bit of a prodigy at that point. A little bit unexpected, maybe knocked out a few of the guys who were probably more expectant to getting there.
Yeah, well, I think I was the youngest one in the KL3 200 metres by 7 years, I believe, or it might have been 7 years across the whole of para-canoe. But so try not to let that get to your head too much. Got to keep progressing further and further, because it's one thing to be the youngest, it's the next thing to be the best. So yeah, just trying to progress through the career, and we're slowly ticking along in that trajectory.
Fantastic. So the Paralympics are unique in the sense that athletes they compete in classifications based on their defined impairments. Can you explain a little about your event, the para-canoe event, and the KL3 classification?
Yeah, so essentially there's three classes across para-canoe, which is KL1, KL2 and KL3. Essentially, it's just different levels of impairment. KL1, you're essentially just using your arms. You've got a core impairment and a leg impairment. KL2, you're just using your upper body. Essentially, you got no leg drive, so typically a double amputee. Yeah. And then KL3 is one leg impairment, so either a single amputee or somebody with a damaged lower limb.
Okay. That's interesting. I hadn't really considered the definition of the impairments before. I started to take a little bit more interest in what you did and learning a little bit more about it. So it's really interesting.
Yeah.
So why did you choose this sport? What was it all about for you?
So I grew up just playing field sports for fun, soccer, touch footy. Mum and Dad wouldn't let me get into rugby with the knee that I've got, no ACL, so that makes it a bit hard.
My mum too. I didn't have the impairment, but it was just mum was frightened.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, but then as I progressed, I got into swimming as well because of the hydrotherapy benefits of how good it was for rehab in the right leg, and then that slowly progressed into becoming a swimmer, which I was looking to do after the 2012 games, watching that overnight. And then 2014 came around and para-canoe actually became a Paralympic event. And it's a sport that my uncle Mike Druce was actually the head coach of the Olympic team back then. Yeah. So he used to take me and my brother out down, we'll say River Rapids, when we were like 9, 10 years old, when we'd go down and visit for Christmas and Easter and such. So it sort of seemed like the good step to take to go into flat water canoe and just give it a try, considering Avoca Kayak Club was starting up around the same time. Then he helped us get my first boat, then started up with the club and got put on the Rio long list a couple of months later and kept progressing.
Cool. Whereabouts were the rapids?
Oh, down at Gerringong.
Yeah, okay, down the south coast.
Yeah, I'd say barely moving water more than rapids, but for a 10-year-old it was rapids.
That's all right. Sounds like fun. Well, you made the right choice by the looks of things. Like it seems like the right career choice. Looking at all your achievements, I spent some time on your website and watching a few of the videos there. You've seemed to do pretty well for yourself over the last sort of 8 to 10 years. What's been your highlight in the career to date?
Definitely have to be the gold medal at the 2023 World Championships.
We're underway. It looks like Littlehales from Australia has got out really fast. There he is there, Dylan Littlehales from Australia. And Young is also going. It's Dylan Littlehales, I think, or Guandes from Algeria. It's a race between, and Jonathan Young in the middle.
Young's coming
through. The man from Great Britain. It's Algeria
so
and
close.
Great Britain. I think it's going to be Australia. Whoa! Dylan Littlehales got there. Just.
That was very close. I don't even think I want to call that one.
Look how excited Dylan Littlehales is. I mentioned he's waited a long time for this. He will be pretty pumped. He's rocking that moustache. He's been working on a lot. He takes a lot of pride in it. He's very happy with it.
When I won my first medal back in 2018, a bronze medal, I didn't really feel too much getting up on the podium. I was like, oh, that was a bit of a anticlimax. But then winning the gold medal in Duisburg after all that time and having all the family back home cheering along, and I think the biggest point was being able to step on top of that podium while the national anthem played. I actually had the silver medalist Johnny say, "Mate, don't cry." Don't let him see you cry. But no, it was a very emotional day.
Winners want to win at the end of the day, I suppose. So getting onto the podium would be one thing, but it'd sort of drive you to achieve and sort of hit the next gut target and goal.
Yep.
What about your challenges? Like getting to this point in your career can't have been easy. Like, how do you overcome low points? Because there would be some, I'd imagine. And how do you stay focused on the big picture?
I'd say I've got a good support circle around me, which really helps. I know when you get a bit isolated sometimes, it makes all the problems seem a little bit bigger, but having the family and friends around to go home to at the end of the day makes you realise that sport isn't the end of the world if you had a bad session, or if you're in a bit of a rut, or you didn't race well at the recent regatta. But yes, I'd say a great support circle, and then just really I've been enjoying what I've been doing. Not too many people get to go out and paddle around a lake for their job and then fly off to Europe and train for a month and then go to Germany to compete.
Yeah, it'll be very exciting stuff. Just sitting around like that. So do you have someone specific, like a hero or role model, or someone you go to more often for guidance?
Not typically. Maybe my dog.
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah, I'd always, always. He's always there with a big smiling face when you get home from training. But yeah, it's always a good one. But no, I think the family and friends around me in general, but nobody really specifically one person sticks out too much.
That's good. And downtime, I assume the dog gets a run there as well?
Yep, yeah, he gets a bit of a run down at the park, go down to the beach. Haven't been playing golf or surfing as much recently with all the preparation coming into Paris. Been throwing everything at that, but on a typical year as well, I'm also studying psychology at university. So we've dropped that off this year to focus purely on Paris, but get back into that next year, which will be time consuming.
Where do you go to uni?
Finished at Newcastle for a bachelor's, and now I'm looking to get into Griffith for honours.
Cool, very good.
Up in the Gold Coast.
Good luck. Back to the competition stuff. What does a race day look like for you in preparation? Do you have like processes that you follow? Do you have lucky trinkets or special socks that you need to wear, or do you have to eat a special breakfast, that kind of thing, before you get out there?
Not typically. We usually practice the breakfast and all that pretty similarly throughout time trials through the season. So I'll usually go with a bowl of cereal or something similar. Sometimes you can't be too picky depending on where you are. If you're in Bulgaria, it's very hard to find something specific that you find in Australia. But so that's pretty standard. And then go through the exact race plan off the water. Have a schedule of down to the minute of different forms of the warm-up, from stretching to activation to throwing med balls around and jumping on the bike. And then on the water, it's the exact same 20-minute warm-up that I do every time. And before I pull into the gate, always stretch the left leg straight, sort of give a bit of a bow to the course, like sort of respect almost, and then take 2 deep breaths, put the nose in the gate. And the biggest one for my preparation would probably be thinking about something that makes me happy, whether that's family or the dog, knowing that this race isn't the end of the world. So I'll be able to go home afterwards, and if I do good or bad, it's all the same.
There'll be another race.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Mate, I've been watching the Olympics pretty closely over the last couple of weeks, and my boys are loving it. They're really interested, and the young guys. They're keen as, once I told them I was meeting up with an Olympian, they were very excited. Their question was, what advice would you give them? if they're starting out in their careers, or just even people that are there to enjoy themselves and have fun?
I'd say that last bit's exactly what is to enjoy every minute of it and have fun. I'm somebody who likes to see how far I can push my body. Showed that in the off season,
I saw a video of you a bit sick in the water at one point as well.
Yeah. So I was doing the Hawkesbury Classic earlier in the season, which is a 100k ultra marathon to raise money for charity. So I went from winning the 200 meter world championships to 6 weeks later doing 100 kilometers. So it was a good way to get motivated for that aerobic preparation that you got to do in the off season, build up that base. Yeah, and then this time of year, it's all about that building up lactate and making sure that we've got a bit of energy left with 50 to go. That's where that lactate comes in and we start vomiting on the water. But I think part of why I do it is because I like to push myself and see how far I can go. But a lot of people, whether you're doing it for fitness, fun, or just the social interactions you have around sport, you just got to take it from there and see where it leads you.
Yeah, that's important things to remember. It's all about the friendships that you make and the journey that you can have.
Exactly, yeah.
Makes it a lot more fun. I reckon that's a really good note to finish on, mate.
Yep.
We really appreciate your time and we wish you the best of luck. You've got the whole of the Ream team at your back and supporting you, as well as the rest of the country. So have fun and bring home the gold.
Sweet, thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers.